Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. This is actually a call that we do every Monday at 6 o'clock. If you'd like to join us live, the link is in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. What's going on, guys? We are evolving. We have been doing many calls in different groups. We have been doing a few Monday calls, then almost every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We've also been doing calls. We want to consolidate all those calls into one. So our normal scheduled WingMan University live calls are now going to be changed, and we're going to change the name a little bit. It shouldn't really change the show all that much, but Nathaniel had a interesting idea, and then he came up with a name and just called it the WingMan Weekly Call, and I like that so much better. So we love helping people with POD. I want to start helping more people build POD product lines, and I also want to talk a lot more about building a customer-based brand and business. I know that might seem like foreign concepts. We've been doing this for a while. You probably never heard me say that before because I haven't had that title until almost last month when we were on one of our mastermind calls, and then that evolved from us talking. So now that's how I'm going to be explaining what we're doing, even though what we've been doing is that we just haven't had a name for that. So POD product lines and customer-based brand / business is what I really want to be helping more people with.
Before Stephen gets too far ahead of us here tonight.
And I always forget how to introduce myself, yeah.
My name is Nate Hibbert. This is my brother, Stephen Hibbert. Together, we are WingMan University, and we're starting to create a hub of information that we want you guys to be able to access and find answers to whatever questions you have. We've been working online for quite some time now. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight, and we just have failed a lot. We've learned a lot of lessons. We've solved a lot of problems, and so we want to just bring all of that knowledge, not only from ourselves, but from other people as well, into one place, and that's why we're calling WingMan University.
I feel most comfortable talking about POD at this point, just because of the way that we do research, but we have run the gamut through many different selling options online. Away, RA. But as we help more people with POD, I think when people see me and you together and even see WingMan, I think they really associate that with merch. And we have talked a lot about merch. We've talked quite a bit about KDP. I just believe that's the greatest place to start if you know little to nothing about POD or even selling online. I think it's great if you've never sold before to get into merch or get into KDP because it just allows you to learn and earn. And I don't see anything else out there better to start. I used to love helping people with books because it was a very low cost barrier of entry. Now with POD, there's little to no barrier of entry. And the fact that Amazon has a program that allows you to tap into their customer service, all of their benefits, and use printers and not have to put any money up front and make a listing that taps into their organic searches is mind-blowing. But I think a lot of people know Nathaniel for art. I've been known for a long time as the AKA guy. I've been a part of a lot of different projects, a lot of different communities. I've helped people for a very long time and just kind of the behind the scenes. I never really wanted to be out in front of the camera. A good friend of mine, Ryan Rieger, gave me an opportunity to help with one of his events. And then from there, we've kind of been asked to do a lot of different things that has gone far left and has been extremely rewarding and exciting. I don't think we ever thought that we'd be teachers, or especially even in the space of like going live in front of people, being a part of a lot of different conferences, helping out in a lot of different communities, doing online conferences. Like all this is very new to us and we enjoy that. And we are trying to get better, trying to learn, tighten things up. If you were around 2 or 3 years ago and knew us, and you have seen the progression from when we were sitting together looking like two homeless people trying to talk about something. We were way leaned back. There was people coming in our camera view. It was not good. So if you have that footage, please delete it. This is the look that we'd like to go with, is a little bit more professional. I think this is a new shift for us that I want to continue on, but I don't necessarily want to be doing 20 calls every week where I feel like one call will suffice and all the information that we want to talk about can be done here. And I want it to be like, oh, I don't want to talk about this part of POD because we're really talking to newer people. And we will have to find the balance of providing good information to everybody and letting you know, hey, this might be geared a little bit more towards people just starting off. This might be geared towards people that are kind of in this like second tier where they're starting to build product lines. And might be for the people that are starting to think about building brands. We just might have to break down the teaching a little bit more. But that is completely fine with me because that's what I get excited about. I think a lot of this channel has been geared towards people just starting off. And we want to help you guys grow into having product lines and into a business. There's many different steps. We are learning every day. We are failing every day and trying to just help you guys learn from our failures and mistakes. I don't think everybody needs the same amount of blood, sweat, and tears that we put into it. We want to help speed your process up to success because at my core, I love helping people. I think that's why I really enjoyed when Nathaniel moved in with us after having an accident and some other things happened to him and just helping him get back on his feet to where he's at now, where he's traveled the country for the last 2 years. Now he's settled a little bit in Atlanta. Who knows how long he's going to stay there, but he has options and the opportunity to do whatever he wants, coming from pretty much having nothing or having enough to stay in a 1-bedroom apartment with me, my wife, and all his stuff, and then consolidating that to where we now are back on our own feet. I was in a transition from moving down here and doing a lot of different things and looking for a very special opportunity in real estate, which I actually found. And then Nathaniel having that accident happen to him and then him going back on his journey, which that's what I'm super excited about now. I know this is taking the call in a little different direction, but I had a blast this weekend. And then just catching up with Nathaniel today and just being extremely overjoyed. And I want to help more people hit that feeling because I remember a time where me and Nathaniel were just under a lot of pressure and not enjoying the day-to-day. And where a weekend was like, all we had to do is just...
that long ago.
Yeah, that's true. We were just grinding away. And I know a lot of people are in that position. And I want to help more people get out of that position and feel like they can thrive and be able to take the information that they're learning and apply it. I think that's why we deemed this year the year of taking action. We've talked about it quite a bit in all our calls. I think next year we've already deemed it as the year of consistency. And I think that is a very needed piece in your business. But to continue on this call, I want to make sure that all the different places that we are reaching out to and the people that are joining us on this call understand and know who we are, kind of how we got started, where we're at now, and what we plan on doing moving forward. I have been selling online for over 15 years. I've run the gamut from starting with Craigslist, then going to eBay, then going to Amazon, and now going to other selling platforms. And now me and Nathaniel are trying to get a better handle on Shopify and understand how we can position ourselves in a place to help more people with Shopify. We know enough to be dangerous, but not enough to say, oh, we've got this on lock. We know exactly what we're doing here. But that is extremely interesting to us, and that's why we want to start talking about that a little bit more. But we understand people need to get started, and we just have been focused a lot more on KDP and merch because I think it's the greatest place to start. I mean, there's no other way that I know that you can earn and learn that much, that quickly, for free, tapping into the biggest online seller. It's just mind-boggling. But from me selling online for 15 years, I've always forced Nathaniel to do things that I didn't like to do. Pack the boxes, deal with returns. Any job that I did not like to do, Nathaniel was my go-to person to do all of those jobs. We did that for a long time. And then about probably 5 years ago, Nathaniel we had conversations and he was not happy, which I was like, hey, I fully understand. And he wanted to do more of what he felt his gifts were, which were being an artist, being a graphic designer. So then he started looking for jobs to do that instead of just working with his brother and selling online. As much as fun as I was having, he probably was not having as much fun.
Yeah, it was cool to work together. Or it was Steven just bossing me around because there is a 10-year difference between us. So I thought it was cool to work with Steven, and it was paying our bills, and it was different than kind of doing the traditional thing, which I thought was interesting. But we call it, I don't know if this is good or bad, but we kind of call it the Last Supper when we're talking about it, where it was just everything kind of came to a halt one Thanksgiving. With everyone that was involved with everything, and we're just like, okay, if we're not necessarily happy doing this, none of us love going out in Q4 and shopping and dealing with angry people and like screaming kids and all that, and so we were just like, what's something else we can possibly do? I didn't know what that was, but like Steven said, I wanted to go into something that I was more passionate about and something that I had always kind of done on the side, which was graphic design. So I was able to thankfully, and actually with Stephen's help, find a graphic design job working for a screen printer, which is someone who traditionally creates apparel. So they're putting images on all different types of apparel, mostly t-shirts. And so that's kind of where I got my professional start being a graphic designer. I was always doing freelance stuff and free work for churches and whatever else, just because I was passionate about it. But it wasn't until I got that job that I really felt like I could call myself a graphic designer. It was a little bit more cemented when I was getting paid to do something that I actually enjoyed, which was very exciting for me. After a while of doing that, I kind of found myself questioning why I had to just go to one building and do like graphic design, because I was just using my work computer instead of my home computer. It's like I'm using the same exact programs, I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm just here to make sure that they can like keep an eye on me or whatever. But I was like, as long as I'm getting the work done, like why does it matter that I'm going to this building? And so that's kind of what sparked me looking back into these creative ways of making money online. And we found through a bunch of people talking about it, Stephen was still very much in the Amazon space. And I heard about print on demand, and I just like stuck to that. As soon as I heard it, I was like, oh man, that makes so much sense. Like I'm getting to use the things that I like to do that I'm currently getting paid for, which is graphic design, and use those on Amazon, which I already saw the power of it because we were living off of our Amazon income for, I don't know, a couple of years. And it was just exciting to me to be like, oh, I can do something, you know, with the things that I'm passionate about, with the traditional knowledge that we have of how to sell online. And I just got very excited about that. So I started to put effort and energy into that after a while, you know, and didn't have too much success right off the bat. There was no overnight success here. It wasn't, you know, like the next day I was able to leave my job. It was just like a lot of, you know, my own energy and excitement about this thing kept me moving forward, but it wasn't like any huge wins right off the bat. It was a lot of just like putting the time in to try and figure this thing out. And so after trying to sell online and not having a ton of success with that, I was like, okay, well, I can still use this platform, which was Merch by Amazon. Again, a great place to start if you haven't already. And I can use that locally because I love going to local events and talking with local bands and sports teams and all these things. And I was like, maybe there's some way I can solve you know, their problems that they're having locally with this giant tool that we get to use, which is Merch by Amazon. But really what that did was make me think about a different customer, or think about a customer at all. And so as I was starting to create shirts for like this local market, and really what it was is I was riding my bike to work. I was like, I love riding my bike to work. I think that's one of the perks of living in Florida. Basically year round, you can ride your bike to work. And I rode a very popular path that a lot of other people I would pass in the morning, you know, with their lunch or their backpack on. And they were also going to work. I just assumed, I guess. And I was like, if I can create a shirt for, you know, myself as something I would wear, but representing this thing that I'm doing and that I'm pretty passionate about at that point in my life, I thought that'd be an interesting thing to kind of create and then work, or try to work with some of the local people to try and sell that in their businesses. Like, hey, would you, you know, sell this shirt that shows that we ride this bike trail to work, or for fun or whatever, just like supporting this local bike path. But as I was creating this design, I was very happy and excited to like list it one morning. I went to work, and then when I came back, I wanted to make sure like everything was listed and everything was working properly. And I actually found that I had sales on this shirt that I had designed for myself for this local market that I was going to go like push it to. But we actually had sales, you know, through the organic search on Amazon. And so that really sparked a light bulb in my head. Not only was I more excited that I got to create designs that I personally liked and could find some success with them, but also that I would get to ask my brother now for help, that I had proven that this idea could possibly work, and show him like, hey, you know, I had this idea. I'm not quite sure why it worked. I don't know what I'm doing here still, but I think that, you know, with your help of getting these shirts in front of the right people, we could definitely kind of have lightning in a bottle here of me being able to do the things that I like to do, and Stephen being able to do things he likes to do, which is more like the data side and understanding Amazon and all that fun stuff that I just let him do because I don't enjoy it. And so that really started us working together, which was fantastic because like we joked about before, it was always Stephen just like telling me to do the stuff that he didn't like to do. And it wasn't stuff that I like to do either. It was just stuff that allowed me to, you know, help him out with this business and find out new things about selling online and all that. So this was actually fun for us to start working together, where I felt like I kind of had my side of the business, Stephen had his side of the business, and then only through, having our relationship could we make this thing work. Because Stephen wasn't going to do art and I wasn't going to do data, but together we were able to get something working, and so that was very exciting for me.
You talked a lot about like thinking about the customer. That's not something I've ever done like with a goal of understanding the customer. I think it was like a byproduct of selling online and just knowing that it's more focused on the product. I understood pretty early on, like the keywords hold a lot of weight as far as like selling online, because that's the only way that they're able to find the listings. That was very important on eBay because you had to build your own listing and everything. With Amazon, you can jump on other people's listings, you can create your own listing, but it's pretty guided how they want everything done. In eBay, especially when I was doing eBay, it was almost like the Wild West. Like you could kind of almost do anything. You could use HTML. It was a lot of different variables that it was not like, oh, this is how I make a listing. It was like, here's a million different ways to do this. What's the best way to do it? And I think just through trial and error, I was like, this is how we can do eBay and find success. And the keywords hold a lot of weight. So when you told me about that success that you had and the fact that you just were riding to work and thought about the customer, it was so foreign to me that I don't know if I grasped it. It was just like you were having sales and that's what excited me. And I was like, you did this overnight? Like I was just asking you a lot of questions of like, none of this makes sense. Answer these questions and let me try to like wrap my head around this. Like you had an idea in the morning, you came home, you made this design, you woke up the next morning and it was selling and it was selling this well. And I was like, I didn't say you were lying, but it was hard to believe. And I just was like, there's something else at play. This doesn't make sense because you've been doing this for a while and you've told me like, hey, I'm selling this, I'm doing this. And it was just like, you were selling a little bit, but it wasn't enough for me to like get excited about it. But the
Right.
speed at what you did it, I think at the time was super intriguing to me because doing OA or RA or wholesale, especially private label, it takes time to do all that. And it takes money up front to do all that. And at the time we had a lot of stuff in the house and it was just like getting to be a bit much. And I was like, how can I figure out this? There's got to be a better way to do all of this, but I'm doing too much right now to like take a step back and think about it. So when you told me that, it gave me a pause to go, I wonder if we could just switch a lot of this stuff up and think about the customer first. Cause that seemed to be the piece that you said that made sense. Like the rest of it was just like, I don't understand any of that. But like you thinking about the customer was a new concept to me. And I was like, I wonder if I can use that part of it. So as you were still working at that place, I was just trying to see why your listing was selling so well. And I found all your other listings, but they were very difficult to find. But that riding shirt that you made, it was like, oh, because he made a better listing. Like all your other listings were pretty anemic. They had a title that was decent, but then there was no bullet points or anything. And I think just because you didn't know that part of the business, so you were just like, this is my idea, I'm gonna throw it up there. But this one, like you spent more time, you built a better listing, even though your original idea, I guess, was to sell to local people, but you wanted like when they went there to speak to them. And I think that's really what happened. You made a listing to speak to customers and it started selling like crazy. And because you put a lot of good keywords in there, Amazon showed you a ton of love. And it was a very underserved market. There were no real Florida riding t-shirts, which was like mind-boggling to me that it seemed like such a large audience that nobody was doing anything to. And that's why I think, POD allows you to go after like any niche and any sub niche and just test it out. And you can almost throw up anything. As long as there's something there, customers might bite on it. You might not nail it exactly, but as long as you're getting some sales, you can go in and refine what they really want by giving them more options. And I was like, you can do all that instantaneous. Like it was all fascinating from that point of view to helping you and break all that stuff down, doing a ton of just data pulling and researching and finding patterns and looking at all that stuff. A lot of stuff that we've been talking about the last 3 months. It helped me just refine how I was able to talk to you and communicate to you. And then from almost paralleling like how we started teaching, because we had so much success in merch and then started having a lot of success in POD, we had a lot of opportunities and one of them was teaching and we leaned heavily into that. But it was very interesting to me to go, we are almost making up terms for a lot of stuff that we are doing. And because I'm more into the numbers and I think you're more into the arts and we're both not into the English. We were just pulling terms that we've used like almost in past lives. Like when we were making websites and doing a lot of stuff, we were doing split testing. And it was just like we were pulling those terms randomly and then applying them to what we were doing. And then we found over time, like, that's not the best way to do it. So we have learned how to teach a lot better over the last 2 years and given things names that make more sense. Like a landing zone is a military term, but the way that we are applying it is like there's no previous frame of reference other than that's a place where a plane is going to land or a helicopter is going to land. That's the same way that we kind of use it. This is where we want our products to land. That makes sense. We'll call this a landing zone. The 5-step validation test, we'll call it the WingMan 5-step test. And then we'll show people how to validate. And this coming from our many years of selling online to refine, because we're always finding ways to validate, and through helping hundreds of people now, like this is a better way to show and teach people, and then taking that process to where now I feel like we've really tightened everything up. Like we have a much better way of talking about things. We have a much better way of explaining ideas and concepts. We have come up with this strategy that I feel like is the backbone to our business. Ever since me and Nathaniel started working officially together, where it's not me just telling him what to do, we've really thought about the customer, and that's kind of our backbone to our business. In everything that we do now, going from OA to RA to wholesale to private label, everything is based on the customer. When I started helping Nathaniel out and thinking about the customer first, then gathering keywords, then gathering products, then gathering everything, it just made my job so much easier, and then us working together so much easier, and it streamlined our whole business to where we then were leaning way heavier on POD because it was just a better fit for both of us. Our strategy, we've called it Discover, Understand, Serve. This is a common saying that we're going to be bringing up a lot. We talk about it when we talk about merch. We talk about it when we talk about KDP. Any platform, we talk about it. Then when we do a 10,000-foot view and look at the POD space, we go right back to that strategy, discover, understand, serve. And the last few months of helping more people with building brands and businesses, we're continuously talking about discover, understand, serve, because it is the core, we think, for building a business. You have to understand the customer to really sell to them. But before you can do that, you have to discover them. You have to find your customer. I still believe Merchant KDP is a great place to start because you can earn and learn and find a customer base to really target and go after. Then through that discovery phase, you can lean heavily on Amazon again because it's the biggest online retailer. There are other competitors in the space, but you can lean and leverage Amazon to really understand those customers, the keywords they use, the products they prefer, the designs they like, the sayings, the colors, the sizes, all that stuff you can gather from Amazon. There's more stuff like that you can gather from Amazon, but you're going to use all that information to serve the customer. You're going to be putting all that information together to build listings, to put in the market in front of those customers so you can serve and better understand them. Take that information. I think the next step is going away from Amazon, but you can go back to Amazon. But I would then suggest going through Seller Central more than KDP and Merch because there's a lot of competition down here. So I know we put up videos on YouTube. We've done a lot of videos here on our channel that people are saying, hey, this is great information, but you shouldn't just be copying people. And we're like, we're not saying copy people. We're saying gather the information, test the information, find out what works for you, test. I don't think we've ever said, hey, you do this and then steal this person's idea. And I got a lot of PMs on both sides. So people are like, you're just straight telling people to steal, and this is the greatest information I've ever heard. The very first video we ever did, we got 2 comments, and they couldn't have been farther apart. And I kind of lean on both of those and go, okay, I'm in the middle, and I'm just trying to do the best I can to help people. That's truly what I'm trying to do. How people take it holds really no weight on me because this is just a small portion of what we do. I thoroughly enjoy working with my brother. I have an amazing life right now. There's very few times in my life that I've had both financial stability and time. I fully enjoy where we're at right now. I want to give those gifts to more people. I've helped Nathaniel get there. I've helped quite a few other people get there. I think we can do it on a bigger scale. As much as we have had success with Amazon and I enjoy selling on Amazon, I don't know if it's the greatest way to have a successful business. That's why we talk about a lot of different platforms, and that's why we are trying to help more people find what works best for you. Is merch the best fit for you? Is KDP the best fit for you? Is Etsy? Is Shopify? Is Gearbubble? Is a million other platforms?
I just see print on demand as a solution to a ton of very interesting, problems or thought patterns, or even some startups that I'm starting to help here in Atlanta. Like, it's just cool to see kind of the doors and opportunities that are opening up from me understanding print on demand. So no, I don't think like my graphic design skills have gone through the roof because I've been like doing print on demand for the last 5 years. I honestly don't do really any graphic design anymore. That's basically handled by our team. So it's just a much different position that I'm in now, where I'm like managing the people who work for us, and I'm looking for new opportunities. And like you said, just kind of enjoying, what we're able to do now. It's not at all what I set out to do 5 years ago, where I was like, again, I just want to be a graphic designer. But it has allowed us to do interesting things, and I'm finding enjoyment in that. Again, even if I can't exactly explain to people what I do, but I think after I start to work with people, they start to see like, oh, like he just is able to find solutions to problems. And even today, like the first thing that I saw Monday morning was someone trying to purchase stuff from us on Shopify and having a problem with that, and be like, okay, I don't know enough about this to like problem solve. But then like 30 minutes later, I was like, oh, okay, I actually figured that out. That feels really good to like start the week on kind of this problem solving. So it's much different, but it is very enjoyable, and it's opening up way more opportunities than if I were just still like doing graphic design and that's the only thing that I wanted to do. So it's an interesting place that we're at now.
I feel like this is a much better fit for us to just be able to, I don't know, bounce around a little bit more, talk a little bit more about different things. I think every call that we were doing in the past, it almost felt like we were very tight on a subject. Like, we can't talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. I don't necessarily want to talk about what I have going on in my life, because we're trying to help these new people, or we're only trying to help the people inside this small group. We only trying to help people go from OA to POD. Like, it was very compartmentalized, and it was, I don't know, a lot of work to like keep all that stuff separated and plan everything out. And then the week was just like full of like, okay, I got a million business things to do. I got like 100 different teaching things that I'm trying to do. And it was just like continuously feeling like I'm stifling myself. And now to where this call is, where it's just, this is what I want to talk about. This is how I want to talk about it. I don't have to hold anything back and feel like, oh, I shouldn't say this, or we're in this group and I don't want to talk about this other group. It's like, and talking to a lot of people in the groups that we're in, and them just being like, sure, that's fine. We enjoy you being here. We feel like you've helped us out a lot. If you want to talk about those things, that's fine. Don't do it necessarily like only in our group. Like, we don't want you talking about another group in our group, but if you're having people join you on your call, feel free to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And I think that was like a big like relief to just go, oh, we can actually pull this off. This Wingman University idea is a reality. I don't have to be like pigeonholing myself to try to help people in all these different facets, to be a hub of information and only talk about this one thing. We can just like bring information to the people and do it in a very Hibbert way, where this is our personal experience. This is what we've been doing. I don't know if this is the best way to doing things, but I'm going to say from my personal experience why I think this and why I suggest this, and just being able to fully explain an idea without saying, yes, no, kind of, I don't know how to answer this because we have all these other things to consider. It's just like, this is why I'm going to say that this way. This is why I like to ask Nathaniel these off-the-wall questions, because I want to help more people go from feeling like they have to have a job and kind of start the side hustle. And there's never going to be a point of, will this thing ever work out, to where you have done that process now. You've transitioned from having a job to fully being on your own, doing whatever you want to do. Do you enjoy that more than having a job? And I want to have more of a conversation on that, and knowing that I can, like, if we want to go on for another 30 minutes, we can talk about that, or we can bring that up another time where we go, hey, tonight we're going to talk about going from having a job to full-time, whatever your passion is. We think you need to be at this point, and we definitely wouldn't drop everything to do this one thing like we've done
from
many
our
times in the past. Exactly.
Exactly.
And just have open conversations. And that's why I think I'm super excited. I love helping people, and being able to consolidate all those calls is refreshing to me, knowing that I can reach out to this network and not feel like they're not going to listen to me. They're going to keep me out. They hate this idea. Simply like, oh, people actually listen to me and they like me. Good. How about this? How about this idea? And just being able to lean on a lot more of my ideas and feeling comfortable enough to express those in a way that people aren't going to shoot them down immediately. They're just like, okay, let's talk about this, have the conversation, and what direction are you ultimately trying to move in? Okay, we agree or disagree, and this is why. And then talking about that stuff more. And more
Yeah,
open.
like Steven said, we started off just having no idea what we were doing, and now we feel like we're in a place where we've tried a lot of things. We don't have the answers to everything, but we feel like we're pretty good problem solvers in this space, and we have a pretty good grasp of, kind of what the next steps look like and how to streamline your system and just do a lot of unique things. So that's
I
what
would say we're not gurus, but we have a lot of experience.
Yeah, and so one way we've been able to, check our information to see if we really know how much we know, and to help this community is actually doing 20-minute one-on-one calls with you guys. I've been doing that for the last 2 weeks, and it kind of refreshed my love for teaching. Like Steven said before, we were in a ton of different groups talking about a ton of different information, and even if we said something that was really good on one call, we'd be like, does that fit in our other calls? Can we share that with these other groups? And so I'm very happy to be bringing everyone together now, but we want to make sure that we're not just throwing out generic information that doesn't really hit anybody at where they're at. So like I said, the last 2 weeks I have been doing 20-minute one-on-one calls.
I'll take credit for it.
We've been doing 20-minute one-on-one calls just to get to know you guys a little bit better, see where you're at in your process, see what walls you've run into, what bottlenecks maybe you have in your business, or help you figure out that next step that you can take. And I've been telling Steven basically after every one of these calls, I got off and I got a call, and Steven was like, oh man, we're totally missing this point, or man, we're really doing a good job of helping people with this part of the business. And so he got excited about that deal, kind of like how we started Print on Demand. I just got to go forge ahead a little bit, figure things out, and then Steven gets excited about it. So now for the rest of this month, we're going to be doing that same thing. We want to offer you guys 20-minute coaching calls, or one-on-one calls, I don't know the official name that we're calling them. But we just want to get on a call with you, whoever you are, and see where you're at in Print on Demand. If you've never started, maybe we can help you, learn how to sign up for an account and understand what this whole thing is. Again, if you've never heard of Print on Demand or any of this, we'd love to just jump on a call and, give information that's directed to you. That's, I think, our big push for the end of this year and kind of next year is we want to make sure that we're giving you information that's going to help you exactly where you're at. That's the whole idea behind WingMan. And so that's what we're going to try to do with these 20-minute calls. So we'd love for you guys to sign up through the link that I just posted in chat. We'll be posting it in the group in a few different places. So if you missed that link, but definitely take the next couple of seconds, click on that link, at least leave it open in your browser if you don't have time to go sign up for it right now or figure out your schedule. But we really want to talk with you guys, just see where you're at, get to know you a little bit better, and see how we can help you more have success with Print on Demand. So
yeah, that link will be in the description. It'll be live for this month. Probably next month it might change. So if you're coming here later and watching that, we apologize, but feel free to reach out to us. But those 20-minute calls, I think, is an amazing opportunity. And we will both be on the calls moving forward.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching tonight. We hope to see you in those coaching calls. We hope to get to know you a little bit better. But until next Monday, when we talk about, how you can find success with Print on Demand, we're going to sign off for now. We'll see you guys around.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.